Good day, guys. Good day. So, this video is going to be quite small, but I'm going to talk about support, resistance, and the breakout. The reason I'm doing this video is I saw one of my viewers, they said, Kenzo, but you said we should not look at our left hand side, or we should look at our. Then I just need to explain that what I'm talking about is mostly I talk about that once we see the breakout, like here it's USDT, I will also show you on different pairs, right? So when the market breaks out, we know that once the market breaks out like this, it means that most likely the market is trying to change the trend and start a new trend, which means if the trend it was pushing to the upside like this one, it means that the market is trying to do what? To show us that I'm changing that, I'm going with the opposite direction or the trend, right? But maybe the confusion is coming from, what about this area? As I said, we should not actually look much on our previous structures, our our left hand side, because there are so many structures that can confuse you and they will stop you from trading. Because if you look for a sell, we can see it's simple, it's straightforward that the market is breaking out there. But if you want to sell, and there is this area here, which means, let me just draw that, you will see what I was trying to explain. Only when the market just breaks out, right? When the market breaks out, we end up forgetting about what happened on our left hand side and focus on the new structure. I'm not saying just ignore everything. Maybe when I was explaining that, I was a bit quick or fast or whatever. So you can see that if we were going to sell along the way here, we're going to have so many structures that actually, if you sold, maybe you will think about getting out here. If maybe you want to continue to sell, this portion, it was going to be smaller. And at the end of the day, you might not actually take necessary trades. So my point is, when the market breaks out, once the market breaks out, it will create a structure or a zone like this. So we don't really have to care much about what happened before. But excluding this part, once the market breaks out like here, there is a very closest area where maybe it was a support or a resistance that we can mark. And that area, maybe let's say on USDT, it was this part. It was that part because it was creating a proper support. And we see that the market is also respecting. You can see here and also here, the market came back, broke out, and respected that area. So are we going to also consider this one or the other one or the other ones? No. Already the market broke every recent support that we had, quite similar to the resistance. Broke everything that we had on that structure. And that to me is, yes, the market wants to do what? Continue selling. Sometimes the market might be adjusting. So which means sometimes the market can still turn here and still push up. But besides that, once the market broke out like that, we might expect the market to retest and still push lower. Do you see that? So do we consider this area? No, we don't really consider that area. Which one are we supposed to consider? It's actually this. We can easily see that the market is doing something there. Let's go on a smaller time frame. So my point is, don't actually focus too much on the past. You can see the market created something here. The market consolidated around this area. It came back again. This is our new area. That is going to be the support. But that doesn't mean that the market is not on a downtrend. The market can still push up and still break that, because 90% of the time the market will be doing what? Going on that trend. We can go maybe, let's say, on 4 hours time frame. I like inputs, guys. You can also send me some messages if you don't really understand something, because this actually helps both of us. So now we are actually on NASDAQ. Let's see what's really happening on NASDAQ. Okay, I think I deleted what we had as support and resistance, but what we had here was we actually had a sort of a support like that, you see. So if you check along the way, we have like so many areas that we can use as our support, or actually our support area. If we keep looking at our left hand side, what can we do with that? The best thing that we can do is to watch what the market is doing. Wait for the market to show you those things. So here we're going to have something like this. It's double lines, as you know. So currently we can easily see that the market broke out, closed below this area. So firstly, once the market breaks out, let's check our closest horizontal structure, whether support or resistance. So our closest structure here on NASDAQ, we actually don't have any. You can see it was a bit higher. So which means it's going to be this one. That is the current structure that we can say is the closest one. And it can make sense for the market to do what? To respect this area and push up. So maybe the coefficient came there and say, Kenzo, just because you said we should not look at our left, why maybe are we doing this? Or maybe last week I said something. Remember, breakouts is different from when I'm talking about the market which is moving inside the trend. Here we have a trend, so which means if we are actually on an uptrend, every structure is going to matter. We are still all continuing with this trend. So this is actually what we're going to do. But once we get out, we are actually going on a new journey. It's actually a new journey, which we just going to do what? Focus on the new structures. Why? Because they might look quite the same, or maybe quite around the same level, but it's no longer the same thing. Now we are going down and we want to capitalize going down. And if we just look at these areas, it's going to be confusing combining the new structures and the old ones. That's why I say every time where the market is going to do something, the market will always show us something. The market will always show us something. So I might go even maybe on on currency pairs, and just to find these areas, maybe just to find some nice areas that we can say they relate with the other ones. Or let me just try to check something, because looking at our left hand side, yeah, it's something that we do, but sometimes it doesn't really make sense. So let me just go here maybe on Euro USD. I think we had a very nice support. It was pushing up like that, if I still remember. Yeah, I think it was pushing like that. That's what we had. Yeah, that is actually what we had. I just want to show you when I say don't actually focus on your left hand side. Let me just make this a daily time frame. So that these candlesticks they can be way too visible. We're learning, guys. We're learning every day. I'm not saying that I know everything. So now look at this. The market was pushing up. We can still push this to this point, but it's fine where we are. You can see that the market was pushing to the upside, right? So we were focusing on an uptrend. Now we have a new trend, which is actually a downtrend. So what we're going to do is, it's not like just because I said we don't actually focus on our left hand side, we no longer look at everything. My point is, we have to focus on what's really happening now. We are on a downtrend. Because if we check on every structure that we're going to have there, we're going to have support areas non-stop. But when you check, the market did not really actually respect those things or those structures. So why are we keep like confusing ourselves when we have a different structure going down? You see this structure going up. If I go back maybe on our previous uptrend or downtrend, you can see this is a uptrend, maybe coming from down there. Let me just start it from there. If we draw something here as a resistance, we can try to compare. And if you were going up, you were not going to buy because there are areas that maybe you were going to consider them resistance area. But we did continue buying because we were focusing on this uptrend and new structures. So mostly the market will create something like this, and we start to know that, okay, this area is going to be the future resistant, and then the market start to do something like that, quite similar as support areas. But this and this is two different things: uptrend, downtrend. Yes, sometimes the market might reverse quite similar to other structure, but we are on a different structure now. That's why if maybe you trade swing trade, it's going to be difficult for you if you just always check what happened on the left hand side, because there is always going to be an area that seems to be on the same zone with actually where we are on the market. If you check here, we're going to have so many areas. If we check on our left hand side, we're going to have so many areas, and it's going to be difficult for you just to check everything. But the market will always create something like this, and then the market comes back around that same area. And that's how the market moves. And we continue doing something like that. And from this area, we start to see, oh, now we are creating a trend, and we follow that. So thanks for the input, and I want you to keep adding those inputs so that we can actually correct each other. I'm not saying that maybe I'm 100% right. I'm just saying that sometimes if you just watch at your left hand side, you might not actually trade. But the only thing that we can do is, if maybe we had a support area around this area and then the market breaks, that's going to be the only level that we're going to check, because it's very current. It's not really that old. But once we break that, we no longer check the other ones like this area or that point. We just continue with our downtrend. So maybe let me go on a different one here. It's quite similar to here. GBP is going to be same as Euro USD. But if you check this downtrend, the market was pushing up, now it's pushing lower. If you check here, these points, you were not going to trade when the market was pushing lower, because there was going to be another area, looks familiar and looks like maybe the market will bounce back from there. But guess what? The market kept pushing lower and lower. And on an uptrend, the market did not really care about the previous downtrend. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. But the market will always left some clues. It will always create some clues along the way. You can see here, the market created something. Then now it becomes lower and lower. Now we know that, okay, these are higher low, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. That is actually a downtrend. And since we are inside this trend, it means we're going to focus on whatever that happens inside this trend. The older ones there, yes, we're still going to check them, but the market will always create something. That's why we can able to draw a resistance, a support, without looking back there. Which means let's focus on what is happening now. We are day traders. That's where we use 4 hours, 1 hour. Going back to a month, it's not really bad, but listen to what the market is telling you now. Most likely you're going to get what you want. I hope maybe that it's simple. I hope maybe that explains some 1 or 2 things that people they do not really understand. Another thing, the last point is, if maybe the market, let me say, give you this example here. If maybe the market goes back and break this area, my point is, we're going to check on our left hand side the current or structure, which was actually very important, which is going to be this one here. So which means we're going to wait for that to be broken, then we check, and then we push up. What about this one? What about this one? We no longer check that. We already checked the current structure or the most recent structure that we actually have to check. And if after that we no longer check everything, we just continue with our trend. Maybe that was the confusion. But anyway, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Keep them coming. I will be doing all those corrections for those maybe who did not really understand. Sometimes I understand, I might not really explain something much better, and that is fine if maybe we can communicate. So thank you very much, guys. This is Kenzo Xtrahot. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, like, share with your friends. Bye.